It's been 2 years since we took a vacation. We spent our holidays at home playing video games. At school, we would hear stories from our friends. During their vacations, they would visit all sorts of places and do all kinds of exciting things. They got to do a lot of fascinating stuff, like trekking and fishing and playing with animals. Fun, huh? And us, exploiting our PlayStation to catch bunnies. So that year over the summer, I wanted to have some fun with my brother and go on some adventures so that we could tell our friends. I asked Jade, why don't we do the same as what our mom used to do? That's amazing. Let's do it, Jade replied. Our mother was once a bright and mischievous little girl. She grew up in a village of West Penn where she was always really hard to catch. She was definitely a troublemaker. That summer, she was super busy with her public works, so Uncle Rich, a friend and neighbor, a quiet and easygoing person, drove us to West Penn. We were supposed to meet at St. John's Park, and there we saw our grandma and grandpa for the first time. Uncle Rich handed us over and said he'd return later. We got lots of hugs from our granny and headed toward their house, but some things struck us as weird right away. Grandpa still drove an old car, Rusty Tubby we called it. My mom used to say that Grandpa enjoyed listening to music and swapping stories, but they were all quiet during the journey. The sun was close to setting when we saw the house alone in the woods. It was darker than any shadows we could see. When we entered, an old soggy odor hit my nose. My brain got alerts about something unknown. Something I must fear. The stairs were creaky, narrow, dark.
"We've got a room ready for you two," Granny said. "Your mom used to stay here, and now it's yours. Just remember, don't get out of your room at night."
My mind creaked. Why? Why couldn't we get out of our room? After waking up in the morning, I realized that they disliked gadgets. They cautioned us not to play with our gadgets so early in the morning. Grandpa asked for our tablets and phones to be kept at home while we were planning to go out. We drove into the forest on the hill in his old, shaky car. As we drove, we noticed monkeys leaping from trees and birds quarreling. After a while, Grandpa stopped the car and told us to follow him. We saw him walking along a tiny route through the trees, a stinking sack slung over his shoulders. After a bit of strolling, he stopped us in a weird, empty spot and said, "Stay here. I'll be back in a few minutes." And he disappeared into the middle of nowhere. After a few minutes, we got worried. I really didn't understand why he was acting so strange. I wondered what kind of grandpa he was. "Jade," I said. "Yes," he whispered. "Why do you think he left us behind?" I replied. But before my brother could say a word, a sound like a whistle came and an arrow hit the ground right before us. "Run! Run! Run!" Jade shouted. Jade grabbed my hand tightly, and we started running. We were unsure of what to do in the face of this unexpected attack. We lost our mind and scrambled towards the car, haphazardly negotiating the descending dirt path and woods. We had never encountered such a hazardous situation before. We couldn't figure out what was happening to us. We were fortunate to survive, one arrow after another flying through the air, missing their targets as we kept running like a fawn chased by a pack of wolves. And suddenly, I saw Jade slip and succumb after slamming into a tree, and it filled me with fear. For the first time in my life, I felt the terror of death. I hurried to my brother and attempted to pick him up, but he was badly hurt. I kept trying until I noticed my grandpa drove us back. Was this his freaking game to entertain himself with? We were scared as hell. Jade was barely walking. Since we'd been here, we hadn't had any touch with Mom. Man, we needed our phones more than anything. At night, I held my breath and went out of the room to get back our gadgets while I kept remembering what my grandmother said.
Don't go out at night.
My experiences throughout the day and the eerie atmosphere of this house were shutting down my brain. But no matter what, I had to do it. Besides, we weren't sure what kind of peril lied ahead of us. I made it downstairs and started looking in every nook and cranny of the home for our gadgets. I was searching everywhere, but every corner was empty. I saw their old telephone. A ray of hope flickered in my mind. Without a moment's thought, I ran and picked up the receiver. It was working. I felt a sense of relief. I dialed like crazy, and finally, it started ringing. But, what the hell was happening? There was another phone in the house ringing. I heard drum beats inside my ribcage. Suddenly, a creak of the door put me on my toes. The door opened, and an upsurge of terror poured out of me. A shadow like Grandpa showed up. Dark, dreadful, dragging a staff or rod. As the door opened more, the sight became clearer to me. What was he wearing? He was so scary. Such a horrible sight. I ran immediately to our room, not wasting any more time. I ran to the room as fast as I could, bolted the door, and stood there panting. A peaceful moment. Quiet. Awkwardly silent. The closed door offered some reassurance. But I was feeling scared because I couldn't find our gadgets. It seemed like Jade was about to ask something, when suddenly a loud bang on the door shattered all our composure. The hammer striking the door shattered our hopes. The hits were getting harder and harder, and we knew this time we wouldn't make it. There was cackling outside. We watched helplessly as the door was slowly being broken down by the blows of the hammer. No, we have no hope of survival. My eyes filled with tears. Mom, where are you, Mom? Suddenly, we heard a siren. A police car. Then the house was bustling with heavy shoes and loud voices. After a moment of screaming and scuffling, everything went silent. We were unable to have even the strength to open the door and look outside. We were petrified, crouched down in the corner. Someone shouted, "Jade! Justin! Are you here?" "Mom!" we shouted and screamed. Our mother suspected something was going badly after our phones were switched off. She immediately showed Uncle Rich the photos of her mother and father. He then realized that was not the man and woman he had taken us to. Finally, we were rescued by police at the last moment. This psychotic couple had been hiding there for the past 2 years. The couple was identified by the police as fugitives from a mental hospital who had been convicted of committing child homicide. Mom's actual mom and dad were found dead and buried in their garden. Even now, after so many years, the fear of those few days still lingers in our brains like a festering wound that never goes away.